Okay, so nonetheless, thanks everyone for joining. If you're listening to this after the fact, it is Wednesday, April 19th, right after a large volatility move in the crypto markets. Today, we're going to be covering a wide range of things. Some things related to the Chappelle update, the Chappelle Shanghai hard fork, as well as just kind of overlooking the markets in general. I'm DK. I cover legal operations at Premia, but I spent 10 years in traditional finance, primarily covering big data on securities lending and derivative client positions.
Thank you. And I'm Marty, as always. And then today we have a new co-host, Han Solar. Han, you want to give a 2-minute intro about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for inviting me, Marty. I'm just I guess I was like a DeFi researcher that discovered trading options last year. And so I also started like an options chat. And I've also written a few threads about my few lucky trades. I don't know, we could go into that later, but yeah, that's me.
Nice. Yeah, just always write about the wins. And if you ever lose, you just delete the tweet, and then you're always right.
With the predictions as well, right?
Yeah, of course. If you post every day, you're bound to be right at least once, right?
Exactly.
And Magix, DK told me to invite you up. Do you want to give a little intro about yourself?
Hey, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick, so I'm a bit stuffy. But joined Premia a couple days ago. Prior to Premia, I was in investment banking here in New York City, mostly public company M&A. Over the last 3 to 4 years, a lot of de-SPAC transactions. So advising both the SPAC and the target on both sides, going public through that merger. A little bit of capital raising, and yeah, happy to be here.
Nice. Yeah, the last few years have been hot for SPACs, right? The managers always get paid, and then, whoever's stuck holding the bag is stuck.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, at least the sponsor team typically has got like a 6 to 12 month lockup, so they can at least participate in some of that, downside. They don't get to dump their bags, on retail, at least at time of close. So they share in that a little bit.
Yeah. It's a very interesting space. Maybe we can go into it a little bit later.
Sure.
Yeah. I wanted to cover some simple things, specifically more about the current vol regime, kind of where we're at with ETH withdrawals and the Chappelle update, like DK had mentioned, what the options book is looking like. I was kind of prepared to talk when the price was kind of up, not down. But it's been interesting to see what orders have come through in the last few hours after the dump, or last hour, I guess. And then maybe we can just nibble into altcoins and these crazy frog coins that are doing 1000x in a few days. And then we can go over some macro big data stuff if we want to cover that. And just keep it rolling. How is everybody trading this, the unlock? Were you guys bearish, bullish, long calls, long puts, selling?
Buying spot.
Buying.
Bullish unlocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say bullish unlocks. I mean, I had spent a decent amount of time outside of like trading communities and like speaking to like engineers and like core Ethereum devs and the people with very large positions in that unlock. And the only thing that they were predominantly thinking about was like, how can I get my dividend Ethereums out and spin up more nodes, right? So like I didn't see anyone that was like, oh yeah, I'm can't wait for this withdrawal so I can get out of my position. It was all that, like, okay, I have 3 ETH on this node, 3 ETH on this node. I have 12 nodes with 3 ETH. How can I get that out and spin up a new node? So from the large holder perspective, I didn't feel like there was going to be a lot of selling pressure. And anyone that is not on the more technical side, I felt like was already using a liquid staking derivative. So like they could have exited their position anytime in the last year. So I didn't feel like from those sentiments that it would have been, any more than a 24-hour period in which that anyone that really needed the money would have, but the market would easily be able to, absorb that. Those are my thoughts anyways.
Yeah, I guess I had pretty similar thoughts. Like all the kind of smart people, I guess, that are really into crypto, usually we're saying the same things. I'd see a couple of people that would overthink it, namely Kamikaze, who's now being kind of made fun of, obviously. But I think that's how a lot of people were positioned into Shanghai. But what surprised me was the sell-off actually. I've been tracking ETH BTC, and it just kind of feels like it's a lot I just feel like it's really weak. There's no bid on ETH relative to BTC. Even during this dump, it feels very BTC led on the downside, and I don't see anybody buying the dip for ETH, despite the fact that there weren't going to be large withdrawals and then people selling and things like that. So I was curious to kind of maybe get your thoughts on why you think that's the case. Not seeing that much bid on ETH at the moment after a huge upgrade like this.
I think you saw it in the first day after, right? And you had everybody, especially Kamikaze and others, coping on the Bird app, don't worry, the unlocks are coming in 5 days or whatever it was, right? 7 days, it's coming, it's happening, and they were just full cope when it was just ripping higher and higher from whatever it was, 1900 to 2000. And then we just kind of stayed 2000, and we're up 50% since the beginning of March, roughly 40 days. And we get a 6% down day, and people are always, I was right. Well, how much have you lost in the last month and a half? Yeah, it's a lot of cope on the timeline, right? Sometimes you just have to turn the Bird app off.
Yeah, so I mean, Kamikaze flipped, right? He flipped above 2000, but then back on this dip, that's the bit where I would have expected a bit, maybe less kind of selling, but maybe it's just the short term kind of leverage longs that are getting flushed out. But yeah, I would have expected a bit more support on E.
Yeah, what's funny is you're not seeing the spot bid or the perp bid, right? You saw Binance just market sell everything right there in that hour candle, 4-hour candle, whatever it was. But you're still seeing these large clips of orders on the institutional side for ETH upside in the next month to 2 months. Nothing's financial advice. There's no idea what else these guys have on in terms of trades. Maybe it's 0.001% of their total book, right? And they're just if this one hits, we'll 10x.
Maybe.
Yeah, it just depends. Depends on what they have on their whole book, right? If they have 1,000 trades, and we're looking at this one trade, or this a few clips, this is market changing, life changing. Yeah, well, when it's not, you can't take that one to heart. You can't ride that one forever. What do you guys think about this this Pepe coin and this 10,000x or whatever it just did in a few days? And where's the money gonna go after that?
I got my own personal thoughts on this. We did this during DeFi summer, where you chased the stupid projects. I don't even know, does Pepe have a project? I've only heard people trading in the 1000X, but is like, does it do anything? Is there an actual team starting to build underneath it?
I'm with you. I
What
know
we
zero.
discovered, yeah. So like, I remember that back in like 2020, back in 2020 when this used to happen, it used to be like large influencer echo chambers that are like, doing airdrops or doing small things. And a lot of these people that made like, their 10,000 X's and stuff, those were when the liquidity pool on these things are like sub 250K, right? Like, I mean, the market cap was sub 250K. Like the liquidity pool itself was like, you're getting like 7% slippage on a $700 trade, right? So you're not gonna be able to buy with size on a lot of this stuff back then. You're probably better chances off with a lottery ticket. But people like just like when Shiba Inu, whatever came out, there was that like one person who had spent like $1,000 and owned like 50% of the supply or whatever.
Yeah.
You'll have one big winner, and then you have a bunch of echo chamber influencer people that are talking about it, and it starts hitting all the different sentiment trackers that people are watching on the shitcoins.
Yeah, then
and next week we'll probably never hear about it again.
Oh yeah, give it a couple weeks, right? It's just a fad. It's just a craze, right?
People are just bored.
Yeah, exactly. I saw one guy do like $500 to 600K. I think it was 1 million, but his slippage was like 400K or something, right? So if he's
yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. That on Etherscan or in your wallet, they may have done 1000X, but that guy would have drained all the liquidity and gotten 600K out, and then everyone else is left holding the green bag.
I kind of see like these like meme kind of trades, according to like the P&L kind of payoff, like very similar to options, like buying options. And I feel like, just like based on the P&L payoff and like maybe like the percentage of how successful they are and like how many X's they do in general, like I feel like maybe that's one of the reasons like people don't use like options protocols as much.
Because with the kind of same amount of capital exposure, they can take a risk and potentially earn, significantly more.
Yeah. And like the theta decay is basically like the treasury or maybe like the attention span of that particular meme coin or that altcoin. So like when the treasury runs out, that's basically the theta decay of that particular like call option on that meme, or the flavor of the week basically.
I'd agree on the attention side because a lot of them don't have treasuries. It's just like someone did an airdrop and like maybe they kept a portion of the supply for themselves. But other than that, like the treasury is maybe like the Uni V3 fees that they're making.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, attention's probably the decay.
I think it also seems to come in small waves. So like I think that you guys will know better than me in the perp market, but my feeling was there was a decent amount of levered longs going into Chappelle. A lot of people making silly money on a 10x levered long on what's from 1800 to 2100, close it, and then now they have all this extra money and they're just looking to gamble, and so like shit like this pops off for a week and they give it all back to the market. But I think the vol move today was karma punishment for the timeline.
Jeebus was kind of making fun of it because that guy, he had, I think put like 0.01 something ETH and turn that into whatever it was, like the million or something. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't sound, that's like, dust to most people that have been around now. But I remember back in like the Ether Delta days when like that was just what we used to do. We'd take like $20 worth of ETH and throw it at every new listing on Ether Delta. And some of them would hit huge and other ones, were total flops. But, like you weren't thinking of it as like how much ETH am I putting in? You just thought like 70% of these are going to do absolutely nothing. So let's just like throw $20 worth of shit at the wall for everyone that comes on, and like one of these is going to hit. And you're just seeing that like repeat itself with the new like generation of entrants. So the ones who are now being introduced to DeFi and shitcoinery.
I think it's like not the ones that fail that are like, interesting and worth talking about, but like the ones that actually survive, right? Like, I think there was a lot of like
Survivor bias.
there was a lot of effort like going into explaining why these meme coins exist in the first place, right? And that was like kind of really hard for me to get my head around, like in 2020 and 21.
It's just like the culture, right? Especially like, oh, you look at Shiba Inu was like nothing, and I don't know, it did a bajillion X, right? And one guy owned half the supply or whatever it was. And the dog money season and all of these other alt shit coins that just go absolutely berserk. But now, like especially in the States, like there's a whole like Shiba Inu following. Like your grandma knows what it is because she read about it on whatever AOL or whatever she still uses, right? Dial up, right? So you get like a cult following, just like a movie, right? Like the movie's dumb and it's stupid, but it has this cult following that just is now engraved in the space. And you see this with Dog Money, and maybe you'll see this with Pepe. It will still be around because there's obviously the Pepe the Frog, all the meme stickers, everything that Telegram and Bird app always are using. Maybe we'll get this cult.
There's already been Pepe coins though, so that's
Yeah,
the
so
funny part.
many.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Pepe came around last season too. This isn't like a new token. It's just like it's new people being introduced to it. I kind of see it like in traditional workplaces, how people will sometimes, when there's like big money lotto numbers that come around where it's like in the hundreds of millions and stuff,
Yeah.
everyone will pool money and they'll throw in like 10 or 20 bucks, even though they know they're throwing their money in the garbage. The fun of it is like the chance that like who cares about this $10, like if it does hit, we each walk away with $1 million.
Yeah.
And like that type of excitement, I think, is very similar to the type of excitement that's created on gambling on like fun meme coins. Only if you're into crypto, it's a little bit more fun because like the volatility in itself is like what's exciting.
Yeah, and Deribit's like, they're teasing like a new Doge like options, aren't they? Maybe it's like for perps. It's just like kind of fascinating to see like something that has or something that is being valued by I guess like the cultural value or like the attention span value, and then like building like multiple types of like derivatives on top of that, and like people trading that seriously, like just find that I've been in this space for a while, and I still find it like kind of unbelievable.
During the like GME, Doge period, me, DK, and some guys had an idea of bringing Doge more to the masses. We were going to do something like Badger DAO, but with Doge at the time. And we're looking to do Doge options, but the problem really is like liquidity when you're in the decentralized markets, because outside of Doge being Doge, there are a few implementations of Doge that you
Wrap
can use on
Doges.
like Ethereum. It's like a wrap Doge, an O Doge, a P Doge, but there's no liquidity for them. So like it's hard to simulate that market in the decentralized markets. Whereas on a centralized market, you can just use Doge as collateral if you wanted and have people deposit there.
The DeFi guy, I see you keep trying to chime in, but we keep talking over you. You want to give a 30-second intro, then let's keep it rolling with Doge
Oh
and
yeah.
Vol.
The intro I have is pretty simple. I also trade using algorithms every day, and I hate to I hate to be the guy on the other side of this debate against everyone else, but I feel like I say this every one of these calls, but in financial markets, price shapes the narrative. Narrative doesn't shape the price. So we're all talking about Pepe coins because the price went up. That doesn't mean they're good. That doesn't mean they have any value. what are Pepe coins? The same thing as Shiba coins, as all these other coins. They're just a strategy on preying on the bottom 10% stupidest people in crypto. They're coins that can be minted very easily, have no value, and can easily be dumped. How do I have an appreciation for this? How did I learn this? Because I own 100 million Ireland coins and they're listed on PancakeSwap. And if you buy them, I will dump on you. And yeah, I can code, but this was one of the first kind of things I ever learned to do was, make some contracts and mint some coins. And, it was part of my learning process. So, be it dog coins, Pepe coins, whatever coin, the unequivocal truth is we're only talking about it because the price went up. The price only went up because there's an unlimited supply of stupid people in the world who think that free money is a real thing. I guarantee you now, money is not free. And I'm surprised, if I'm honest, that we've spent 10 minutes going back and forth debating the, serious nature of, I shit you not, Pepe coins, when in reality it's just someone who's got the same technical abilities as me, but much more ruthless and willing to, twist the knife on people who just don't have this deep understanding. I think if you lose money on Pepe coins, dog coins, or any other generic Ireland coin, that's on you. And I also think I push back too hard just to end comparing Pepe coins to options on Bitcoin or Ethereum or Nasdaq securities is not same because options have an intrinsic value. We can mathematically calculate the value of the option, whereas Pepe coins just have a market price and a market liquidity. So there fundamentally is a mathematical difference between those two things. I don't mean to be such a Debbie Downer, though.
Yeah, you
So,
just
sorry,
sound
guys.
like
I don't think
you
we.
just sound like you haven't had a good alt season. You were just always just behind the
I don't.
top.
I don't think we disagree, DeFi guy, because like if you like compare it to the lotto, right? Like the government is the guy who's just preying on the rich. There's a reason they don't teach probability in public schools, because they want the dumbest, less wealthy people to throw all of their free money away in the chances that they win big.
No, I 100% accept that the lotto is a tax on poor people and only poor people join the lotto. I accept that. But fundamentally, there's a difference because we, again, can calculate the expected value of the lotto. The lotto is regulated so that you will realize your expected value. Even if it's negative, you will realize your expected value. But I guarantee you, just like with the NFT projects, just like with My Ireland coins, just with the Pepe coins, there's some little fucking bastard sitting on the other side of this transaction who is going to twist and bounce and move to do whatever he can to make sure that he's not the one holding the bag. At least on the lotto, you get a fair shake. But on Pepe coins, there's a guy that's like me that is going to try and dump on you. And you're playing this game of like either everyone's too stupid to understand that this isn't going to be a big thing, or the smart people are playing this game of who can jump out first. And I just feel like, especially in crypto, where like there is edge, there is things you can do that can generate money. Is playing this Russian roulette game really how you want to spend your time? It's not how I want to spend my time.
It is when your portfolio is only $1,000 or like $5,000, right? Because like you don't have a problem bidding 20% of your portfolio or 50% of your portfolio to try to win big for like that chance. But for anyone else, like, they're not going to do it, just like you said. It's like, okay, thanks for flying Sisyphus Airlines.
Yeah, or it's kind of like Cozy was saying, like, where people just throw $20 clips at every listing. It was kind of like when KuCoin listed things. I remember, you put in like $5,000 and it would at least double or triple, right? Just for a lotto ticket, a gamble, right? Of course, the people that are go to the casino. There's always people that are at the table with the last $100, $50, and they need to make the rent payment tomorrow, right? So I feel bad for those kind of people, and you probably need some help if you're in the casino or if you're gambling Pepe coins. But the Pepe coin or the meme coins or the dog money is all this like subculture or trying to get retail in, of course somebody's twisting the knife, and of course somebody's manipulating or taking advantage. That's life, right? That's the crypto market, especially. Go look at NFTs. Oh, the Pixelmon, right? They did, I don't know, something crazy, like tens of millions of dollars of money that they raised, and it was like
Kevin,
garbage, absolute garbage, and nothing has come of that, of tens of millions of dollars raised. Insane, totally insane.
No,
Kevin's
I
going
get
to the
that.
MoMA, dude.
Sorry, you go.
Oh,
All right, I don't think I get you, DeFi guy. We don't need to spend time on the guy that did Elliott wave theory on a 4-day-old Pepe coin. We can move on. We can move on.
we can move on. Oh yeah, is there TA on the meme coin yet? Just like how there was TA on stables.
Yeah,
That
there
was
is.
good. That was good. And what's going on with the UK? It all kind of seems like it was like a perfect storm in the crypto space. Like we did the merge, or not the merge. We did the unlocking successfully. Well, ETH altogether, right? We did the merge successfully. Okay, that worked. We did the unlocking successfully. Gas prices are still high, right? That's later in the future of the timeline of ETH. And now you had everything up, up, up. All risk assets are going up. Chips are, AMD, NVIDIA, all flying. New yearly highs on NVIDIA, I think, yesterday. And then you have UK macro data come in, over 10% inflation. You have Binance market selling all at the same time, all within the same hour. And you get kind of like this perfect storm minus, 6% in a few minutes sort of thing. Are you guys still thinking crypto's following, macro space and dollar liquidity, or you think we're uncorrelated here? What do you think?
The macro space seems all over the place. Like, you've got that going on in the UK. You've got China or Hong Kong that just recognized cryptocurrency as property. You've got burgers in the US where they can't clearly define what ETH or anything is, and we're filing lawsuits, or they're filing suits against Dash and like dinosaur coins. Seems like a landmine in macro right now, but like the crypto market like picks and chooses which macro events matter.
Yeah, I was looking at I think everybody was, right? All the videos of Gensler yesterday talking about security commodities, and he's trembling and his hands are shaking. Hopefully he doesn't have Parkinson's, right? Or I'd feel bad, right? And he was just couldn't make up his mind, or he was dodging the questions, and it just seems pretty. We've talked about this before, but it all just seems pretty lame that the U.S., the dollar, the world reserve currency, the biggest financial markets in the world, can't come up with a clear cut. This is black and white. It's not this gray area anymore, and make some rules that would help innovation. But it's starting to seem and has felt that they don't want this kind of innovation. Maybe it puts risk to the dollar, or you could argue about that all day long, right? But you're just right now. All I'm seeing is funds, more funds pop up in BVI, pop up in Cayman, and in Dubai, and nobody can set up or wants to set up as a U.S. entity unless it's just a feeder for money, because you don't have any derivatives in the US, right? You don't have access to options. You don't have access to leverage or perps. You only have access to margin, maybe just like your stock account works. So I don't know, you have, $100,000, you can get access to whatever it is, 2 or 3x.
30.
Is it 30?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
30%.
Oh, 30%. Yeah, but I think they're giving you more margin on crypto, right? I don't think it's 30%. I think it's a little bit more.
Oh,
But yeah,
yeah.
like FTX US, I know was like 10x max. So if you had 100,000, you could trade a million, right? But if price moves against you, whatever, 1%, you get liquidated. So now it just seems like a weird space, right? You have Hong Kong accepting crypto as property. You're seeing a huge banking crisis that happened in the U.S. A month ago, I guess, 2 months ago, and now China's state banks are issuing or accounts for cryptocurrency firms out of Hong Kong. It's just all like totally backwards in this current realm right now. How is the question specifically for you? How's the crypto space in Korea? I know you guys don't have leverage, right? But how's banking and how's access to other sorts of derivatives, right? Like options or something like this? Did we lose him?
Han,
Han.
Han,
Oh, sorry, my
Han.
mic was off.
Han, are you there?
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hello?
I got you now.
Sam.
Oh yeah, sorry, my mic was off. Yeah, so I was just saying, like, South Korea used to be like really heavy option traders, like 10 years ago in the trad space. So like Koreans are also part of the heavy gambling crew, I guess, like in the Western, Eastern Asian kind of like area, alongside the Chinese and the Japanese, I guess. But the government took that away because there were lots of like suicides and bad things happened. And so we're obviously like really tight when it comes to like margin and leverage. Um, the first like couple of like Korean exchanges that started, um, a few of them like developed like margin systems, but they got like kind of canceled really quickly. And so now like everybody only really plays like really scammy altcoins. So that's why you'll see like really random coins like kind of like pop up sometimes. And I've seen a lot of like Twitter kind of traders use that to like leverage long or short on Binance, using like the Korean spot flow and their degeneracy. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the kind of regulations on margin are gonna be pretty similar like all over the world. I'm not so sure. Like, I think Korea is kind of front running the US in terms of that kind of area. Like regulators just, they just don't trust retail users on using margin to trade because as we kind of probably all know, like that doesn't usually end up well for like most people.
Yeah, somebody has to lose money for somebody to make money, right? The exchange is just where that happens. I think you're seeing
Yeah.
other places pop up. Like let's take Brazil for example. Brazil is coming in with crypto law that they're writing, and they're doing phases or drafts of the laws now. Once they implement the laws, then all the exchanges have 180 days to adhere to the new laws, and it's pretty straightforward. Like as long as it's not a scam or a rug pull, it's okay. Because right now in Brazil, there's no laws or regulations at all besides you cannot advertise derivatives to retail. So Bybit and Binance were on Twitter doing advertisements in Portuguese directed specifically to Brazilian people, and they got the boot. You can't advertise. But then somebody like Deribit doesn't sponsor any events. They don't advertise or anything, they're okay, right? DeFi is okay. So in the new laws, how it's set up, as long as it's not a scam and as long as you don't advertise in Portuguese to Brazilian natives, and as long as you're not taking investments from Brazilian natives, then you have the green light to do everything, right? You can have an exchange, you can have DeFi, you can have any sort of innovation in the crypto space as you wish and that you could ever imagine. And then you see places like, let's say the US example, right? Just yesterday, Gensler's talking and he has no clear cut answer. He's, shaking in his pants. And I think you're just going to see innovation leave from the U.S. or other places where they can't be building, right? You already have people in the States working with entities outside of the U.S., but I think you're going to see more and more firms and more businesses move their whole teams out of the U.S. That's just, I don't have a whole team of 50 people, right? So, but that's what I would do personally.
I mean, this is like an area that like really kind of concerns me. I mean, like regulatory wise, like the US leads the whole world basically, like in terms of these kinds of laws, right? There isn't going to be like a country that's kind of, I don't know, like maybe like smaller, like gambling kind of related, like places like Cyprus and like Isle of Man, like, and maybe places like Singapore, Macau, like can open up like regulatory kind of leeway to these kinds of like higher leverage, like more advanced kind of financial services. But it's this has always kind of been like a pretty big kind of concern of mine in terms of like the trend of how regulators are kind of catching on to what's going on in the crypto space. Like it's what attracted me, like just like the freedom of being able to play with so many different kinds of derivatives and like experiment with like all these kind of like financial instruments. Like that's what is like I think that is like innovation. Like finance has been like kind of captured by these like very small interest groups and like catered to their like profits and things like that for like like hundreds of years. And like crypto is really opening that up, but uh, I'm a bit pessimistic, kind of. I'm hopeful, but like realistically, I'm kind of pessimistic on how it turns out like in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know. Just depends, right, on where you're geologically located and what you're trying to do, right? If you're retail and you have $500, you're buying that Pepe coin, right? Today, you're making DeFi guy mad, so mad right now, you're gonna go buy it. But if you're trying to run like a large institutional firm, specifically out of the U.S., and let's just say you hold spot and you want to hedge it, you can't. You physically can't, right? You could go to CME and try to do options there and futures there. They're picking up a little more market share, but overall, that's like your only venue to trade, right? That you can't access other markets. You can't do any sort of arbitrage of price or buying and selling different options on different exchanges. DeFi.
Do we lose him?
Did you lose me?
No, I hear you fine.
Loud and clear.
Oh, I just lost DK, I guess. Yeah, it's just a weird time and a weird space to be. But for now, we're -6% on the day and still up, I don't know, 50% on a month and a half. So if you guys are over leveraged, loosen up the leverage, please. Yeah, it's so crazy, right? The Twitter, you see this crazy swing. I think, I've said it before, you get like, oh, everybody's bullish, mega bullish, and then somebody, I don't know, like Kamikaze, oh, he flips at 2K ETH. Like, that was the biggest top signal ever, right? Like, this guy was mega bearish, and he got absolutely wrecked. And then he flips again, at the Pico top, but almost basically the Pico top, right? 2100-ish was the top. And then, 6%. And I don't know, he's probably tweeting right now, oh, see, I was right. 5 days. I told you guys 5 days, right? So, yeah, you can't help everybody. What do we have on the agenda for the rest of the month in the macro space? Besides like UK and US, today we just had the UK, it was like -10%. Is there anything going on in Korea that we need to be paying attention to? You guys have pretty low inflation.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Pretty low
I'm
inflation.
paying attention to like earnings. Earnings are probably, what people are going to be paying attention to over the next like couple of weeks.
Yeah, what's the biggest one there? Samsung is the biggest. Hyundai and Samsung.
Oh, from South Korea? No, man. You don't need to pay attention to South
At
Korean
all?
macro.
Oh, not even a little bit?
Well, I haven't been. Like, if there's some kind of like forward indicator from South Korea that you can tell me about, then I'll pay attention
No,
to it.
just
Right?
like you
Uh,
seem to you basically during the Asian session, right? You see the most movement,
yeah.
right? And then the US market opens and it's pretty dull and it's pretty flat, during US trading hours. And then
Isn't that a meme though? And it's actually like the UK hours that do the most.
is it UK hours? I don't know. Yeah, like
Yeah,
European
I
hours?
Yeah.
thought like I think last year, like the joke is always that China's moving the market and like, oh wait, when Asia wakes up, but like in actuality, I'm pretty sure it was like UK hours that were that were moving the market, and it was just like at a time when like it wasn't American hours, so everyone was like, oh, it's Asia hours now.
Yeah, they're that
Yeah, I think I
uncultured.
remember somebody analyzing
They're
that.
that uncultured. They're like, oh yeah. Yeah, and right now it's just even like today. Well, we had the move before market open, right? And then everybody's gonna say, the CME gap is gonna get filled, and it always gets filled, and then we're gonna rip from there. But I mean, everything today seems down. SPY's down 0.5%, Nasdaq's down 0.5%, Bitcoin's down 4%. ETH is actually kind of holding pretty well. I was expecting like a 10% candle in one day, just like a flush, and it just keep going down. But I mean, we saw a little bit of that today. I don't know if it's continuation. For now, you're still seeing upside buy and institutional buyers and ETH outright calls, not even multi-leg strategies, just one leg calls. Very strange.
Chats, absolute chats.
Dude, they're holding us up right now. No, like the biggest gamma level is like 2K on ETH, and below that you have 1900, 1800, right? Just, probably more psychological levels, right?
Nice round
I saw
numbers.
what at 2.1K this morning, and like it basically broke down from there. So
Yeah.
it seemed like it worked today.
Yeah, no, today it worked, right? And above that, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not seeing like any more like 5,000 calls, 4,000 calls. I'm not seeing this mega bullishness anymore. I'm just seeing these we're kind of ping ponging it 1900, 2000, kind of this area for now. And I think
I think we might be synchronizing with like macro, like because like the SPY is kind of like at a local top, like DXY is at a local bottom, like gold just like came off the top, and like 2-year bond yields are like curling up again. And so like I think everything is just kind of like maybe cooling off a bit.
well, yeah, like I said at the beginning, right? We were up like 50% in a month and a half, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
just today trying to make money today and you're down big and you hit 5x leverage and you're down 25% just today, yeah, like the time to make all the money was in the last month and a half. Usually before all these merge, unlock, all of these things, it's getting priced in before, right? Not necessarily after, right? Like you don't see a $10,000 candle on Bitcoin the day of. It grows $10,000 or it gains $10,000 in a month or two before ahead of this. It's not yeah, it's more priced in, right? Maybe not
What do you guys think about the VIX? Like the VIX hit like ultra lows, right? Like once like hasn't been this low for like a couple of years or something.
yeah, no, you go into what I said about like crypto vol, like it could just keep going lower, right? Especially after an event, it usually goes lower. You could just see.
Well, like I was talking about like spy VIX.
Yeah, no, I know VIX. Yeah, no, I'm just saying volatility in general can just keep going
Oh,
lower, right?
can go lower.
Yeah, it can
Oh,
just
right,
keep
right,
go.
right.
Oh, it's at even. I wrote the newsletter for Premia, and it was like vol was just going down, 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 more and more. Like, is it cheap? Yeah, right. Like you can buy some upside. It's cheap to buy upside, and if it pops off, you're gonna make a lot of money. And at the time, it actually was the right call, right? But you still can see VIX or any other volatility product. I don't know. In crypto, you have DVol, EVol. You have Volmex is 24-hour continuous. It's like a VIX futures product, I guess. that you can trade. It can just keep going lower, right? Price can stay sideways. It can slowly grind up, and vol just can keep going lower and lower. I don't know if it's a perfect indicator. Oh, it's at ETH was at all-time low vol. Yeah, it's always good to nibble some upside if it's super cheap, right? If it cashes out, it works. But you can just keep selling, right? You can just keep selling options as well, as long as you're not caught off on the total wrong side, and then you're picking up pennies in front of a steamroller, right?
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
just don't see us staying at these low volatility levels when liquidity is still so low, like as day, and there's never been thinner order books in the last 3 or 4 months than ever in my life. Like, I noticeably could see when Alameda went out of business. Noticeably. There was 20, 30 grand less on every single bid ask on every single spot market in every single coin I trade, which not a huge problem in Bitcoin, but definitely a much bigger issue in, these kind of smaller coins. Now, I don't know whether the price will go up or down, but I just don't think we're in a world where we're going to go into this long period of low volatility, especially even just on this call and in traditional markets too. Like, people are so undecided now. Some people are very bearish and they think a recession's coming. Some people are bullish and they think that the rate hiking cycle is over. I just don't think when you add that uncertainty and you
I lost him, but can you guys hear him or no?
No, I don't.
I lost him. No, I mean, I guess it's recorded, right? So I'll answer into that.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can, of course, you could get periods of high volatility, low volatility, but like just go look at crypto, for example, like DVol hit like 150 or something at the FTX crash, and it's literally been down only since from November. So for 5 months, you could have been selling vol and cash out every month, month over month, weeklies, dailies, whatever you wanted. But now, if it picks up and you're still selling vol and you're caught on the wrong side, of course you can get washed out, in an hour, right? If price goes super crazy and vol goes super crazy, you get a you could get fully crushed, right? You could lose all 5 months profit, right? Oh, every day you're picking up that penny. Oh, vol picks up for, one day, 1 week, 1 month, and you're still thinking, oh, vol is still going down. Yeah, you could get totally washed out, right? That's the game that we play. That's why I still think you're seeing institutional buyers nibble at this longer dated upside, either end of the month, end of June, sometimes even September, nibbling at this upside. Because if it does hit, it's just that winning trade could cover months of losses, right?
Right.
Yeah, it just depends on how you play your book, right? If you're in the US and you're retail and you can't have access to CME or derivatives, and you're stuck holding spot, yeah, I don't know. Good luck to you, right? But if you have access to other markets and you can buy and sell options, or you can hedge with perps, or some margin product, that's where it's headed, right? Those are the next level of traders. This pro tail trader, somebody who knows enough, who has enough money to hedge out their portfolio and make consistent money over time, not just 4 days on Pepe or just absolute gambling options, right? That's not the kind of people that I want to bring into the space, or that I want to help bring into the space. I want to see this pro tail type trader come into the space and thrive in this space. If it's crypto or traditional markets, it doesn't matter. If I feel like I'm helping somebody, I'll keep helping. Do we want to wrap it up? We got a few more minutes. Do we have any questions? We never get any questions. It makes me sad. We never get any questions.
Yeah, you can just raise your hand. We'll bring you up.
Nobody? So sad. Should we just invite somebody random? No, just kidding. Let's see. I just got a ping. Are you guys buying? Here's the question: are you guys, without financial advice, right? Are you guys mostly buying options right now, or are you guys selling options? What's your guys' go-to playbook?
I'm usually a seller, so I got pretty crushed, like in the first kind of half of this year.
Cozy,
I'm a seller. I always be selling.
stay
It's
selling.
my motto.
Magics, what are you slinging lately? You're a buyer or a seller?
Yeah, buying spot, selling options. I reduced a lot of my exposure, kind of the first part of the year, first couple months of the year, and similarly got crushed as well selling calls, probably in like January, February timeframe. So not really selling too many options at the moment.
So what I'm hearing is we're about to pop and vol, right? Because we're all selling because it's been easy to sell.
It was easy to sell like last
When will the
year,
lines
right?
touch, Marty?
Yeah, when we hit the line, we move the line higher, right? That's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was selling calls from February 2022 to like February 2023, and for the first obviously 10 to 11 months of that was great. We went from like 4,000 ETH to whatever the low was, and then back up a little bit, but was pretty profitable there. Not so much in the first half or the first quarter this year.
Yeah, you had that weird the weird pop when everybody turned mega bullish after they realized like, oh, war is bullish, right? US is printing money, and then you had the banking crisis. Okay, US has to print more money. The rate hikes most likely are pretty much done, right? And you saw this huge pop in price from the beginning of the year for sure. Because you had, of course, people saying, oh, 3-digit ETH again, we're going to 2-digit ETH even, right? And of course, that those mega prophecy calls, as long as you make one a day, you'll be right one of those days. But most likely not going to hit. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that's our hour. Thank you, Han, for coming in. Thank you, Cozy, Magix, DK. Oh, I got a question. What is this? Frog coin. Frog coin. Not a question. Just a comment. Just a comment. Alrighty. Well, thank you, guys.
Yep. Marty, thank you again. Always a pleasure. And I echo Marty's sentiment. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you joining. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
All right. Peace out, Pimps.
All right.
Yep. Thanks, Marty.
Peace out, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for inviting me. Bye.